Alright, welcome everybody. So today we're going to be talking about Tom Holland's net worth of supposedly $145 million. So first I'm going to say, why did we make this video? Today we're making the video, one, because I think it's very interesting, honestly. I went up and searched Tom Holland net worth and it came up the very first thing, and it has like his picture and then it has this text right below it and it says Tom Holland's net worth is $145 million. One, that is a substantial amount of money for how long he's been acting for and for the type of roles that he's gotten. It's a very lot of money. Also, I wanted to make this video so actors would kind of get a sense of how much you get paid, how much money on average you may make for a film or for a movie. It's sometimes nice to talk about numbers so you have that perspective. So, first of all, if he does have $145 million, just to put this into perspective, he has more money than many of his co-stars that have been acting for way longer than he has. He then has more money than Scarlett Johansson. He then has more money than Chris Hemsworth, I believe, more money than Chris Evans. So now, for Tom Holland, I'm going to read you here what the site says for how he's accrued this much money. Alright, so it says the English actor, dancer, has an estimated net worth of $145 million. He owes his fortune to smart stock investments, substantial property holdings, and lucrative endorsement deals with CoverGirl Cosmetics. Now, here's the first thing that I'm going to say. If you look up his net worth and go a little bit deeper down to see what his net worth actually is, going and finding different sources, they break it down to be around $4 million. Some people say maybe it's $6 million, but $4 to $6 million is where it's broken down around pretty much. There was one that I saw that broke it down to $1 million, but I think he has more than $1 million. But right now it's withholding at about $4 to $6 million. Now, if he has $4 to $6 million, that is a very good amount of money. But to also say that he has put it into substantial property holdings, well, he's going to have to, one, have the money to be able to put it into property holdings. So then it has to fall back first onto his stock investments. From all his movies, he would have made about $4 million, let's say. Now, with that $4 million, it's going to take time to accrue $145 million. It's not like overnight. Unless, you're doing some crazy cryptocurrency, then maybe it's a little bit more possible. But if it's with stock holdings that we're talking about, there's not really a way that you can get it to go that quickly. He can make a substantial amount of money, though. I'm not saying he can't. He could put in and invest $4 million into stock, and then a month later, maybe he can double that, triple that, quadruple that. But to say that that goes all the way up to $145 million, that's very hard to say. So for that, it's very easy, I think, to roll out the stock holdings. I think this article is more so fishing to see how they can have him have $145 million. Now, he would have to have that $145 million to then invest in properties, to have stake in properties. So if we roll out the stocks, then we have to also roll out his properties. Now, if he has a lucrative endorsement from CoverGirls. Now, I've never heard this before. I didn't know he was endorsed by CoverGirls. But if this happens to be so, if this happens to be true, well, one, that's awesome. To be endorsed by someone, you will make a lucrative amount of money, but you're not going to make $145 million worth of money. That is a substantial amount of money. Again, if he has $46 million, well, he's going to have to then get paid $145 million from CoverGirl. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. Now, we're going to talk about how much it says that he has made from some of his past films. This is called The Richest, and there was another site that was doing this. They don't put in all his movies, but they put in some things that were, they think, substantial, or maybe things that you recognize him in. But I think he was in a movie called World War Z. That's not on here for some reason. I don't know why it is. But we'll talk about what is on here and how much he's actually made, and we'll see, is that true, is it possible? We'll find that out. So the first thing, in 2010, it says that his salary for Billy Elliot, the musical, so now this is his musical, they say that he has made $500,000 from that. Now that is a substantial amount of money for also doing a musical. I don't know if I necessarily buy that. For me, personally, But, you know, if you buy that, then that's awesome. But making $500,000 from a musical is a lot of money. He could have made a great amount of money. Maybe he could have made $75,000, maybe $100,000. At a very, very high range, maybe $150,000. But to say that he made $500,000, that's a big leap. Now, is it possible? It's possible, but I don't buy that he made $500,000 from that. He also did a movie in 2011 and said it made him $55,000. Okay, that's possible. He was also in the movie The Impossible. That one, it says he accrued $71,000. Again, it could be possible. I never saw that movie, but I think he played the son of the family in there. That would be a lot of money for the son to make. Now, Captain America Civil War. That one, it says that he accrued $250,000. Now, again, and mind you now, this is $250,000 is saying he accrued from Captain America Civil War, which would be less than how much he would have made for Billy Elliot the musical. Just so you can see perspective. If he made twice as much for Billy Elliot the musical, I don't necessarily buy that. But now, I don't also know if he made $250,000 from Captain America Civil War. Now, it is possible. Marvel is one of those companies where they have a ton of money, so they can literally give the actors as much money as they want. Robert Downey Jr. made millions of dollars from his Iron Man 3 movie, so it is possible that they did pay him $250,000. So this one, I wouldn't rule it out. Usually, though, $250,000 he may get if it's his own movie, for example, Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, $250,000, yeah, that could be very easy to see. I believe in the Star Wars movies, Daisy Ridley, she made $250,000 reportedly for her first Star Wars movie. So for her first movie, $250,000, that's usually a base price around where they pay you for the first movie. Second movie, you get more. Third movie, you get way more. But $250,000 is about right for the first movie. I believe Wonder Woman was around that same amount, $250,000. Now, if he made $250,000 from Civil War, that's super awesome, but he wasn't the main character in that movie. He was only in there for a very small bit. So I could see him easily making $250,000, if not more, for Homecoming. But to make that amount of money for Captain America Civil War, it's kind of reaching, I feel, but it is possible that he made that money, so we can keep that in. Now it says for Spider-Man Homecoming, he made $1.5 million from that movie. Now, if he did make $250,000 from Civil War, then I could easily see him making $1.5 million for Spider-Man Homecoming. Easily, if he makes $250,000 from Civil War. Now, he could be making merchandise money very easily. So anytime a Spider-Man toy is sold, or a shirt with his face on it, he can make money off of that. So this doesn't necessarily say if this is factoring in those elements to it. Now, if it is, then all these numbers easily could be reached. But if it's not, then there's also more money to be added onto that, which would then bring his net worth up a little bit more. So $4 to $6 million is a very reasonable amount of money to say that he's made. So in my personal opinion, I think that he's made around $4 to $6 million. I don't think he's made $145 million. I could believe if he made wise investments that he could make more money. I could believe he could have the money and get up to somewhere in the 30 millions making wise investments over time. But I don't necessarily think in the amount of time that he's been Spider-Man, at least, where he's accrued the most amount of money, I don't necessarily think from that point he's been able to accrue $145 million. I think that would be less than 5 years he's been able to get that much money, if that's the case. I'm curious to what you guys think. Do you actually think his net worth is $145 million? Or do you think it's more around $4 to $6 million? Or do you think it's more than that or less than that? What are your opinions on this? And again, I just want to say that, this is in no way to rag on Tom Holland at all. I think he's a great actor. I think he's a very nice person. I think he's done a great job with his Spider-Man role so far. And I think he's going to have a very long future ahead of him now. The Spider-Man role is a great role to have. And we've also been able to audition for very similar roles. So that's kind of been a fun thing also. So I think that, $145 million, like I said, it's a big leap to have, but I think, around the $4 to $6 million range is more reasonable. That's my opinion. I'm curious to what you guys think, so leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can be up to date with everything. Bye, guys.